Yeah, that was Billy Vunipola speaking after England beat Ireland in the Six Nations on Saturday. Alan Quinlan's with us in the studio. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, yeah.
What happened?
Jesus, you're like someone he's like someone I meet in the street now or after the game on Saturday. What happened? The question I asked week, all week, was what's going to happen, and then what happened and why did that happen? Having watched the game back, you see stuff that it's hard to kind of process at the moment. Everyone is talking about the physicality and that England brought a brutality, which is very true, but they brought a lot of accuracy as well and intelligence, particularly around the breakdown, their kicking game and the pressure they put us under. And that's not any surprise. I said that stuff last week. Joe Schmidt would have known that. The players would have known that. Sometimes it's hard to counteract that. You would imagine and you would think that Ireland were just a tiny little bit off, and emotionally and with a sense of desperation, England wanted to atone for obviously having a really bad Six Nations last year, certain amount of pressure they're under, and Ireland winning in Twickenham, and they're being on such a pedestal. Tuilagi said after the game, it's bigger than beating New Zealand in Twickenham about 3 or 4 years ago, beating Ireland now. Slade was talking about how big it was as well, so they were so up for this game, and that's kind of the level where Ireland are at. They haven't become a bad team overnight, but I think they weren't smart the other day. We were accused of being boring at the start of the week by John Mitchell, and England were in fact quite boring in their approach. So? Well, they kicked more than Ireland, but they were just way more accurate. They didn't overplay. Probably the only period of sustained pressure on our line was just before half time. I've loads of issues with loads of stuff that happened in the game,
sure,
but I still think England were the better team, and I want to kind of reiterate that. If I was in the England jersey, I'd be full of energy, full of enthusiasm because of the way that they stopped Ireland playing. They slowed their breakdown down and they physically stopped them on the gain line. So it's very hard to problem solve in rugby when that's going on. I've been asked what was the plan B. The plan B should have been Johnny Sexton kicked more out of hand. Territorially, not for the contestable box kicks, because we struggle with the box kicks, and to be fair, England very astutely and subtly blocked off any chance of a contest in the air. How many times have we seen Ireland go 50-50 in the air and win the ball back?
Yeah.
It's a great
It's usually
weapon.
more than 50-50.
Yeah, so every time that there was a box kick, there was nearly 3 English players sprinting back to get in front of the ball, and they're blocking off guys, not to the point that it's deliberate blocking or elbows or knocking Irish players over, but it's just Irish players couldn't get in the air and contest. So they won all those collisions and those kind of moments. And you think of the likes of Stander, Furlong, Keane Healy, James Ryan, you know, the big carriers that have been dominant and really powerful and good for this side. They were all stopped on the gain line. We had no kind of momentum over the line. So when you're stopped on the gain line or behind, you got to pile bodies in. It's a bit of a dogfight. The defence can just take a step forward. They're all set again. Then there's another ruck. They're set again. And it's just hard to play. And I think, if anything, we try to overplay at times. And it just kind of, the end of the game, I think, after the Slade try when it was 17-13, that's the game gone.
Yeah.
That was the forward pass, in my opinion. I think it's, people are saying it's the momentum and the ball moves forward, but he passed it over 3 meters inside the halfway line when Johnny May gets it. Now that's he's over the halfway line. That try was a complete turning point because just before that, Henshaw won a kick that looked like it was going into touch. He knocked it in field, hit Henry Slade, it went forward. Rory Best picked it up, ruck, James Ryan carries ruck, and then Ringrose carries knock on. Garces had his hand out for a scrum for Ireland, never said the advantage was over and didn't go back for it, which he should have done. They get the try and they score. They get the scrum and they score often, and that's the game gone. Now, Vunipolo's try before half-time, in my opinion, could have been given. I think England were unfortunate with that. It's one of those interpretation ones. Did he hit the ground and propel himself forward? If you play it in slow motion, you can see that. But I think in real time, if that was an Irish situation, I'd be thinking we'd be disappointed with it. The Earls, the Johnny May try, the first try, Keith Earls makes a wrong read, he comes out of the line.
Very unlike someone in a Joe Schmidt team to make such a rash decision like that.
Yeah, and I looked at the defence on that side. We had 6 defenders as opposed to 5 attackers. So we actually had the numbers, but we were just way too tight. Conor Murray was in the defensive line, and he actually looked at Ben Youngs first, and then he looked ahead to see who the English defenders were. But Youngs was after getting an offload from Billy Vunipola, so it ended up being really quick. And he just missed the jump, and I think Earls just panicked then because Murray was so far behind him. The Elliot Daly try was fortunate. You make your own fortune. We got the luck in Twickenham last year. So I'm not saying that these moments wouldn't have happened anyway, but I just thought England managed the game really well, and they just dominated when they had to. And then they were just really comfortable without the ball. How many times did Johnny Sexton get the ball off lineouts when Tom Curry was right in his face? Slade and Tuolangi right up in Ringrose and Aki's face. So we generated no momentum. What's the plan B? Just go boring. Just kick the leather off the ball with territory. Because we're so used to problem solving and managing that situation. And after the first try from Johnny May, to be fair, we go up, we get a penalty. Sinclair doesn't run away, 7-3. Then we go up again and we get another penalty. And to be fair, it was a very, very kickable penalty. And Sexton goes to the corner, and I think, Jesus, this is very risky. But it's a measure of the kind of strength and the confidence that they have. They go to the corner, they end up scoring the try from Keane Healy, and it's 10-7 after not really playing well at all. And I thought, yeah, well, that's going to be a massive swing in the game. But England just, in fairness, they came back and they put Ireland back in their own half, and they just kept them there again, and they forced them backwards, and then Daly scores the try, and it's just a swing again. So those little swings in momentum, we didn't have enough of them, and England did, and that was the difference. So, like, if Ireland played England again next Saturday, would they physically dominate them again? No, because I think there'd be better tactic, and you're obviously, if you get beaten up one week, you're going to come out firing the next week. It's the same in any sport, Anthony. But credit to England, and in fairness, we slagged Jones, we slate him, we've given out about him. I've actually said on numerous occasions he's actually a good bloke away from that environment, but he's mind games and he's thrown grenades everywhere, but he got his tactics right. And I think for 2 weeks, or for the 10 days they were in Portugal, they organised a strategy and a structure to stop Ireland, rather than here's how we're going to play this wonderful rugby. Keep it simple, run hard, and physically we'll manhandle them around the side of rucks and slow their ball down, and then they won't have an answer to that.
We talk about the mindset there, and you talk about Ireland's aggression. Joe Schmidt was actually speaking after the game about Ireland's aggression. We can actually hear him talk about it now.
I think we were physically bettered. I don't think I've seen a game where we've played where our opponents have got so many physical, dominant tackles, where our opponents have carried physically in the manner that they did. And it wasn't a surprise to us. We knew with the side that was picked, we knew that the power that they bring to the game, and I'd labelled some guys last Wednesday. But to contain those guys is difficult. Our ball was slow. It was something that they'd talked about, slow our ball down, and it gives them an opportunity to take pot shots, and they took those shots well. So when that happens, you're kind of forced to go to the air because it's the only way you can progress. And when that happens, we couldn't really get into the aerial battle. There was a lot of white jerseys in front of any aerial contest, and maybe we're a little bit too honest there. They got great access into the aerial contest going the other way, and it got quite physical, obviously, with Keith Earls. I don't think that was necessarily part of a plan, but it certainly put Keith out of the game, and he was our most experienced back three player.
Would you go along with all of that?
Yeah, he was very clear and accurate, and I think honest in his assessment there, and he didn't try and hide away from the fact that they were beaten up, and it's very frustrating sitting in a dressing room after that. It's one thing to be beaten by a great play and a really big performance, but when you mentioned the physical stuff, particularly for the forwards, one thing that always was a real bugbear if we got bullied in matches. And it's not about being stronger or being tougher. It's just, as a unit, England were just so cohesive and intelligent, and they were just really smart with the way they defended. They didn't
turn that around mid-game at all, when you know that it's going against you, when you know the dominant tackle count is rising for the opposition?
It's hard because there's a belief that you'll get it, you'll fix it by holding on to the ball. And then when the Slade try goes in, I sensed that Ireland, even for all the issues that they had at 17-13, that they were going to get a moment where they got up there again. They were going to get another chance if they kept it at 17-13. Now, I know Farrell missed a kick before that, but I sensed that they were going to get a chance. They were going to get a moment, even if it was heading into the 70th minute or whatever. That try just killed the game. So I think they believed that what they've done in the last year, in the last couple of years, and what Leinster have done in Europe last year, there was enough of those players in the field that they could fix it, and they were going to get a moment where something went right and they just changed it. And then even if they got another penalty to make it 17-16, well, it's a different approach from England, and it's nerves and it's the crowd are going off their feet. But like, to be fair to England, I didn't see them crumbling at any stage or looking shaky. Even when
much the opposite, actually.
Yeah, they were growing all the time. Even vocally, you could hear them. The ref's mic, they were screaming. They were full of energy, and that's a plan. Sometimes you can actually say, right, if the three of us are going out together, I want you screaming at me when I do something and shout. And that's what they do. That's what Saracens do. It's irritating to the opposition, and in fact, even if you're putting it on, you do get energy from it. Yeah. And it was energy all the time on Saturday. So it's no surprise to me, Eoin, because I think the surprise maybe in the end is the scoreline.
It is a big panic. Like, I don't think anybody really saw us getting
the panic. I thought it was, look, it was a 3-4 point game either way, I thought. And I genuinely was trying to be honest with that last week. On Saturday, which is closer to the game, which I, as a former player and a pundit or whatever you want to call now, I always like to, I think come game day, I'm more definitive of where we're going, because you process what's said during the week, and I like to get a feel at the stadium and what's going on. You're looking at the body language, the warm-up, and when I saw the English team, I was like, there's something about them. And I started to sense that, and I was getting a bit of nerves in the tummy, and I just thought, I don't think we're going to win this game.
What was your take on the Henshaw situation?
It's difficult for any outside backs, first and foremost, because Murray and Sexton were poor as well. But it's difficult for any outside backs if the 8 forwards are not providing a kind of a good platform. Some of Owen Farrell's kicks, which exposed Robbie Henshaw a little bit, were on the run. Loads of time. He's nearly running, and you know, Rod's is obviously so much experience and was an incredible player, and he spoke about that when we did the highlight show in Virgin Media last night, about you just can't overestimate the value of having that extra second, and you're nearly in a run kick mode. And Farrell was able to do that, and he's able to find a bit of space. I thought Robbie Henshaw was possibly out of position a couple of times. The one up the middle of the field, Farrell saw a lot of green space there. He did incredibly well to get back, and there was a few moments that on the sides where you thought maybe he could close off the channel a little bit more. It's a difficult place, and that was my only concern last week. So does he stick with him again, or does he make a change?
What would you do?
I'd stick with him again, because you're completely taking away that option forevermore if you don't go with him now. I think you've just got to make sure he trains better this week and watches and learns from what went on. Rob Kearney, for any of his critics over the years, that's one of his biggest strengths, is not, well, in the air is an obvious one, but just his positional play, and fullbacks, great fullbacks, can sense and anticipate even before the ball leaves the scrum halves' hands where they're going to try and kick, and their body language and their shape as halfbacks. So it was a tough one for him, but again, that platform and that negativity had started up front.
Is it fair to say, no, sorry, Eoin, like, I mean, you know, they were obviously came with a game plan. Like, I watched it and I thought that they, as you rightly said there, they focused on Ireland for the last number of weeks, and they obviously saw areas of weakness, or maybe perceived weakness, where they could go after, whereas Ireland, as you say, I think they just played their normal game. Was that, like, was Schmidt out kind of managed?
A little bit out Fox maybe, but it's easier when you're losing and you look at someone who's winning.
Yeah.
Right, if you look at the Dublin football team, if you were to break down the last kind of 10 dominant matches they've had and said, well, look, this is what to do well, this is what to do well, sometimes it's still impossible to stop it. But if you actually stop it once or twice, and then there's a little bit of, well, what do we do next? This is what we do all the time, and it's brilliant, and we work this. And so Ireland's biggest strength over the years has been breakdown, the amount of possession, the time they hold onto the ball, and they wear teams down, and then they pick their moments, and they have one of these brilliant plays off a scrum or a line out, and they get a 7-pointer, and then the opposition get deflated, and they manage the game well. So I just thought that England were completely able to focus on, here's what Ireland do.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, well, stop them at that. And they probably focus more on stopping Ireland, and then having the ability to have good players in the field. They had 6 British and Irish lines in their forward pack.
But that has to be a big worry, Alan.
Farrell, young, brilliant players.
But if you stop what Ireland do well, which every team is going to go out and do now,
for sure.
It's the World Cup. That's a huge worry if we lose that spectacularly.
Yeah, so I just think we didn't start the game well. So we didn't have a lineup where Aki went up the middle of the field, ran out over Farrell. There was a couple of quick rucks, and we got across the gain line. And you go, they started well, so they grew in confidence. And then, they got that early try. It's a 7-pointer, even though we got back ahead.
Yeah, kills the crowd.
Their response then again was play, but they got us, the try for Elliot Daly's try was, a soft score. They didn't have to pummel us for 25 phases to get it, but they were very accurate in what they were trying to do, and we probably expected them to crash up the middle a bit more, and there was some subtle passes out the door where we go out the back a lot, and they were able to just get off the line and defend that.
Is it potentially a good thing for Schmidt and the management team that they have to now really focus on this
Well,
plan
it takes away a lot of the maybe silly talk about that we're impenetrable and we're unbeatable and we're incredible and we're going to do, I'll be honest with you, and to be fair to Joe, he's very humble and he's very grounded, and he always gives, speaks about you're only kind of one defeat away and there's a lot to work on and stuff like that, and some people say it's pragmatic and it's only 1 week ahead, but he'll know the pitfalls, and I think they will learn from this defeat. Now, it doesn't get bloody any easier. You could do it in Italy at home, or just to kind of recalibrate and get the confidence going again. But like going to Murrayfield, they're going to be seething and really, really looking forward to Ireland going there and believing they'll win. I guarantee you, Gregor Towns will be thinking we can beat Ireland here. If Scotland win again, they could suddenly have 3 or 4 wins in this championship, because I think they'll go to Paris and win. Scotland will. They've got Wales and Murrayfield as well, and then they're away to England the last game, which is, they'd love to be going for a championship decider. So if they beat Ireland, it's massive for them. They did 2 years ago, but I think we're the ones with the desperation this week.
One last one before you go back onto News Talk for the radio. Danny Murphy's been in touch to say, what did Quinny think of the ref for the game? Should Itoje have got a yellow?
Itoje should have got a yellow, and I thought Garcés was really, really poor. Even for the sequence just before half-time, Rory Best took a quick throw, which England did for the first try, where they threw out over the line out from Manu Tuilagi's charge. Like, Best took a quick, it wasn't, they were set, and Garcés said, well, I'm talking to someone, but it's play on. And then when they reset it, he threw it, and it went across in the England line, which is not crooked. He called it crooked. If it goes across on the Irish side, Mahoney had to reach across to get it, but it's not crooked. It should be play on. They get the scrum, and there's just moments like that. The Henry Slade pass was forward. Itoje should have been a yellow. I thought Curry's one was possibly harsh, but you can see here in the still shot where Slade gives the pass. Where Johnny May catches that, he's a half a yard over the halfway line. So I know you're talking about momentum and the ball travelling forward, but that's a forward pass.
Yeah, it certainly seems
it's clear there. You can see it.
I'm sure there'll be plenty more discussion about that throughout the course of the week.
But the better team won.
Yes.
And credit to England.
Without
you know what I mean?
question.
Look,
Quinny, thanks many for coming in. I know you got to rush.